Morning, everyone. Welcome to the course, Teachers as Content Creators, Integrating Technological Resources in Our Teaching Practices. My name is Constanza Oliveros, and I am working together with Ms. Gabriela Bustos, Ms. Cristina Villagra, and Ms. Alba Rioja. We are a team coordinated by Ms. Claudia Corimayo, and we want to thank Ms. Noemi Lopez, who is in the streaming today. In today's session, we are going to have two parts. Ms. Gabriela and I will be delivering the first part, and then Ms. Alba Rioja will be in charge of the second part. So let's introduce Ms. Alba Rioja.
Okay. Yes. Good morning, everyone. I think that I have already greeted everyone, but I will be in charge of the second part, and we will be working with one of the stages proposed by Richards in the backward design. Okay, thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Alba. Today, we will work following some steps as we did the last session. Yes, the first one is going to describe you what we are going to deal with in this session. Yes. In the second part, we will show you some ICT tools for speaking and listening. Yes, and we are going to provide some examples and some resources you can use in your practices. We will also deal with some considerations with the materials design, yes, because this course is called Teachers as Content Creators. So we will give you some or refresh some thoughts of famous authors. And we will also work with assessment, which is one of the steps in the backwards design, as Caro said that Ms. Alba Rioja is going to describe. We will also give you the second assignment for the final project you are going to work with to finish this course. So we will remind you some of the criteria with which you are going to be evaluated. We said that it's important to attend the synchronous meetings and to be present in all the sessions. We also said that there will be a final project which will be submitted at the end of the course, at the end of the fourth session. And finally, you will have other activities that Campus Edu Salta is not opened and we need to send you this information. So do not worry, you will be receiving your information to enter the campus. If you have any questions, you can.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We were receiving some emails asking for this information to enter Campus Edu Salta, but it doesn't depend on us, so we have to wait. And as soon as we have that information, we are going to send you an email with the user and password so that you can enter.
Yeah, there is no like a deadline for the assignments we are giving you now. The only deadline is the final project. So you will be working every session with a different assignment. And you have to keep those for uploading them to the platform. But you don't need to worry now, yes, about the campus. And there will be all the material we share is going to be there. If you have any questions about some information I have given so far, just let us know so that we can answer them, or we are going to continue with the session. So remember that this is the second session and we have two more after the winter break. So the third session will be held on August 4th and on August 11th. Yes, and we have a couple of weeks in the middle so that we can rest and read all the materials. And so we are going to go to our goals and objectives. This is
Yes, Miss Gaby, there is a question here. It
yes.
says, do we have to log in Campus Edu Salta? Yes, you have to, but not yet. When you receive the information by email, then you can log in, not now.
Not
Okay?
now. And probably if you have an account, you will use the same account to log in. Yes. If you are new, probably you will have to wait for your user and password. Yes. But otherwise, you have to wait for it will get to your mailbox. Yes.
And as regards attendance, remember that at the end of the session, when you have the QR code to scan, you have to do it in 10 or 15 minutes because
Yes.
then you can't.
That's true. And yes, something I want to clarify is that the QR code will be shared at the end, and also you will have just no more than 10 minutes to complete it. If you do it, and then it will be closed, right? Because the idea is that you are attending and paying attention to the session, and if you are not, or if you leave for some reason, that's the idea, that you are present and full committed to the course. Any other questions? Otherwise, we can move on. Shall I move on with the objectives, or?
Please, because there are no questions in the chat box.
All right. So for this meeting, remember that at the beginning we talked about the goals. These goals are for the whole course. It says to encourage creation and adaptations of materials within the cultural context of the students. To foster lesson planning by implementing backwards design and digital tools. These are our goals for the whole meeting, yes? And for this, we have a couple of objectives that will be approached with this session. First of all, we're going to revise the main points from session 1. I don't know if someone wants to share. What do you remember? The main points from session 1. Can you share in the chat, please?
Which were the topics we had been dealing with during session 1? Can you refresh your minds?
Maybe some ideas, some words important.
The first 3 teachers will get an excellent mark. Output input process, Romina Gutierrez.
Good, Romina. Thank you. All right. Those steps were followed in different curriculum designs called.
We have explored some curriculum designs. Do you remember the names? The importance of a good prompt in working with AI objectives.
Great.
Content and context.
Great, excellent.
ChatGPT as a helper for objectives. Central design.
Central, good. There are 2 more.
Forward, central, and backward design.
Wow.
Florencia Lopez.
Awesome. Then we are going to explore ICT tools. Some of them you may know, but there is always something new to learn. And their pedagogical potential considering teaching contexts. We will also reflect on some key events, key aspects for materials design. And finally, as we said, we are going to review some forms of assessment, guidelines on assessment for learning. Yes, with Ms. Alba Rioja, as we said before. Well, now I want you to scan this QR code, yes, so that we can start sharing our thoughts and ideas as we did in the last session.
You also have the link there in the chat box.
Yes. Can you see my screen, Caro?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, we can see the code,
Okay.
the QR code, and also the code for the event, which is XDZLOX.
Great. So there are 28 people, 29. We will wait for most of you to join. Great. And they are reacting too.
Yes, if you are in, thumbs up.
There's a function there in Google Club where they are.
Oh,
Great. Great. They're just present, given their.
Zaira Sanchez, have you got a question? Open your mic. Please feel free to speak if you have a question, okay? Just
Yes.
open your mic and say something.
Yeah. What about the people in the streaming, Alba?
Yes, they are greeting, and I have already shared the Google Club link so that they can
Great.
connect. Okay.
Hi, everyone in YouTube.
Yes, you have to wait because we need more people, more teachers, and then we allow you, we give you access to the next question.
Yes. So we are waiting for people to join, and then when we have a good number, we start. So you don't have to worry. We are supposed to be over 100. How many people are there in
In the
YouTube,
streaming,
in the streaming?
we
In
are
the
97
streaming,
in Google
yes,
Club.
we have around 40
Around
to
40.
participants.
I can see some hearts too.
There we are, 101.
Okay, we can move on to the first question. Okay, first of all, we want to know your feelings. It's very important to work with feelings in a class. You know that. So, okay, happy people, sad people, to someone who is really tired, just like me. Great. Yeah, but I can see a lot of happy people in this group. That's amazing. Kind of worried. You do you want to share why you are feeling worried or sad? Maybe just upset or
Or yes, if you want to clarify
yes.
what you get by the emoji.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the code, Marilina, is there.
XDCLOX.
It isn't that cold today. That's wonderful. Yeah.
Tell us why you're feeling like that. Maybe you can share also that information.
How are you feeling, Miss Gabby?
I'm happy, but a bit tired, and I just waiting for the holidays.
It's
So
just Monday and you are tired.
yeah.
I'm happy too. I'm glad. I'm glad because it's not as cold as the previous Monday. So I'm feeling good. Drinking the coffee and listening to you. Okay, Nati Rios.
Yeah, I'm not a morning person. Okay, we will move on to the second, and there are still people answering, I
A bit
guess.
anxious about holidays. Yeah.
A little bit. Well, I think some people are answering. That's why I don't want to move on.
Some people are happy because the weather is better, is nicer.
That's true. That's true. And there are some sad people too. If you want to share that, that would be wonderful. Why are you feeling bad?
They say they are not morning people.
Like me, right? You want to sleep, but I hope you're enjoying the course anyway. All right, let's move on to the second. And here you have to mark in the map where you're coming from. So we will see from which departments and places in Salta. We have people from all over the province, and that's very good. Great. Yeah, most people come from the capital, I guess, but there are also people in from other cities.
Yes, as they said before, they are from Aguaray, Tartagal, Embarcación, Cerrillos, Anta,
Yep.
Tijuana,
Quebrachal, Rosario de la Frontera.
General Mosconi, Orán,
A lot of people from the north.
Rosario La Frontera, yes, Salvador Massa.
Mhm.
Miss Cynthia Causarano, your microphone is open, so can you please?
Yes, because it's causing
Thank
interference.
you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Wait. Well, we can see where the people are concentrated, right? In the map. A lot of people from the.
I would like to read a comment from Cici. She
Mm-hmm.
says it's the first time we have a course for teachers of English.
That's true. That's true.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Thanks for the observation and appreciation.
Yeah. We will work on more courses like this, and of course we want to get better and to give you more ideas. Well, let's move on to the third question, and here we're going to move on more to the teaching session, and it says complete the phrase. When planning my lessons, you have four options. I adhere to the textbook provided by my institutions. I select the material I want to work with. I adapt the materials I work with, or I develop my own materials. Yes. Yeah, sometimes we have more freedom to choose the materials we want, but it depends on the institution we are working with. And sometimes we have more flexibility to select what we want to work with or adapt the materials. Yes, as you can see, adapting the materials is more like the chosen option. Material development is a kind of hard because we don't have like so much time. Sometimes we do not have the resources to make them. But remember and keep in mind that this course is teachers as content creators, and it's a good choice too if we have the opportunity to create our own materials. That's because that's how we can choose a material according to our objectives, to what we want our students to learn. But I can see that adapting the materials is the higher option.
Yes, I think we do a little bit of everything,
That's
but
true.
there is something that we do with more frequency, right?
That's true.
So you can tell us in which way you adapt the materials you work with. How do you do that? You can share in the chat.
Yeah.
I use all of them. What about the streaming? What are the teachers there saying? Are they are they there?
Yes, yes, that we have to wait some seconds
That's
because
true.
the streaming is delayed in the chat.
Yes, that's true. And also, you can tell us if you develop your own materials, how do you do that, and what resources do you use? If you adhere to the textbook, why do you do that, or do you have any other choices, or how come that you just work with the textbook provided by the institution? Maybe you work in a private.
They are saying that they take into account the context. It also depends on what you want or what you find. Also, yeah.
That's true. There are many web pages that share books nowadays. Before, in the past, you need to carry all the books to the school, right?
Cici is saying that not all institutions allow you to ask students copies to work with. Mhm.
In that case, what do you do? You work with the what do how do you work?
Yes, what kind of materials do you use? Books, what else? Videos, audios,
That's true. What do you do with the technology nowadays?
book, audios, video games, Kahoot, songs.
That's true.
One teacher usually pays for the copies. Oh no, don't do that. Videos in YouTube, web pages like the British Council and others. Yes, I love the British Council site.
There's a contribution, a message in the YouTube chat. Miss Ines says that most of the time she adapts the material due to special needs students. And she says that it also depends on the context.
That's true.
And yes, there's another contribution. Miss Lorena Altamirano says that she redirects the content. Usually they are focused on a theme, but change or provide further possibilities under the same umbrella for students to widen their minds on options. So she's saying that she adapts, yes, according to the students' needs.
That's true.
Flashcards, platforms like Educa Play, copies, a book, extra copies, worksheets on their mobile phones, quizzes, Google Form,
Okay. So
memory games. Yes, some teachers are saying that there is a tendency not to work with listening activities, for example. And why is that? What do you think? Why is that? What are the reasons for paying attention to other activities and not to listening or speaking? What do you think?
yeah, that's true. That's a good point because we didn't talk about the integration of skills. You know that you can focus on some different skills in a class, and listening is one of the most important, right? All of them are important, but this skill is, I don't know, like a receptive skill that you are supposed to develop before you move to the productive, right?
Yes, they are all important and we should keep a balance. But sometimes like we find more material for other kind of activities. And we know those are related to grammar and vocabulary
Yeah.
or writing.
Shall we move on?
Please.
Okay, let's go to the next. And this time you have to type. It says, how would you describe good materials? You have to write a word or two describing what you consider good materials.
Like an adjective, interactive.
Good adjectives and nouns or whatever.
Cheap. Okay. Okay.
Well, I guess that if everyone had the technology, could be cheaper for deal with the four skills.
Well, English books were never cheap,
No, no, no.
dictionaries, creative, meaningful, challenging, um, meaningful, dealing with
Relevant,
the four skills,
great, engaging, innovative,
updated,
updated, interactive,
relevant.
and free. Interactive and free. That's important. Interesting, meaningful, reliable.
Mm.
Good point. Reliable.
Inclusive.
inclusive. So many demands. And it says, okay, interesting is getting bigger now and meaningful.
Powerful. Okay.
Fun,
Contextualized, playful.
contextualized. I read some people wrote that. Purposeful, applying, it says thought provoking,
Mm.
focusing on students. Good. Hmm. Interactive, trendy.
Yes, now that we know the materials, the characteristics of good materials, we have an idea to create our own materials in this way.
What about the people in the streaming, Alba?
Yes, Miss Ivana Rueda says that, for example, she uses selected units in primary school. Then she also uses photocopies, online games, and a variety of listening activities.
Great. Mm-hmm.
They also use, Miss Ines says that she uses word wall, extra worksheets, videos for reading, AI created images. Before listening, she uses images, maybe for pre-listening activities.
Great. In this session, you will also be sharing all those, I don't know, websites and materials you use online so that everyone can have a look at those tools. And remember, if you cannot participate in the book club or for some reason, you can also always chat in YouTube or in the Google Meet um, chat, right? Varied and enjoyable, meaningful, adaptable, versatile. But as you can see, the words, like the bigger words, are the most chosen: creative, interesting, engaging, and meaningful.
Shall we move on?
Okay, good, good. Let's move on. In this case, and this is the last one, from 1 to 10, how much are you waiting for holidays? 10. All of them. Great.
Of course, 1,000, 1,000,000 there.
All of them are 10.
Maybe they have a lot of plans for winter holidays. You can share your plans in the chat box.
All of them are 10. Oh my God.
This is like the quickest answer we got.
So funny.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
we
are
too.
waiting for holidays.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was like a very fast first part of the year. I don't know for you, Caro.
Totally. Yeah. It was March yesterday. We were starting classes yesterday.
Okay.
What have you got any plans for these winter holidays? 7. One teacher is saying 7. 9. Okay.
Okay. 100%. All right. We have a couple of people who are still like,
Enjoying the term.
yep.
All
Well,
right.
okay. Let's, yeah. And there is a sad face over there. Okay. We are going to move on, yes, to some revision, yes, let's say refreshing our ideas from session 1 with this game, yes.
Yes, it's a game to have fun and to refresh topics from session number 1. So please scan this QR code. We are going to share the link in the chat box as well. And you can start. As soon as you log in, you start.
Okay, you will be listening to some ideas and you have to complete them with words. And it's about the designs that we presented, also about different elements of the design.
Pay attention to the task, because in some cases you have to write, listen and write, and in some others you just have to drag and drop.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
And you have 3 lives. We want you alive.
Okay.
So let us know if you are playing. Thumbs up. Oh, we okay. Yes. Let us know when you finish. Miss Salva, can you share the link with people from the streaming?
Yes, it has already been shared.
Thank you. And also here?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. So this is a game from Educa Play. Are you playing?
So this is what you're expected to find.
Okay, any problems? Are you there?
How are you doing in the game?
Maybe they are too focused on the game. And we are distracting them. I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure. But I was wondering if they, I don't know, if they win or not, or if they are having troubles.
They seem to be playing. So
Good.
let's wait like 3 minutes.
Okay. Can we play together? What do you think? So that that everybody can see the game.
Yes, I think it's a good option to play together and to revise together.
How are they doing in streaming, Alba?
Yes, I have already shared the link.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems that they are also playing, concentrated on playing.
That's okay.
I think that the first question is like a little bit difficult, but the others are not.
Thumbs up if you finished.
All right, in the chat box. Jose is ready.
Good. How was it, Jose, for you?
Hi. For me, concerning the first question, I have to type some words. It took me more time than I needed, and then the rest question, they were good.
Great.
Great. Congratulations, you survived.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks.
Yes, the first one is like you need to be fast typing.
Yeah. I'm happy that someone decided to participate with the microphone. That's very
Yeah.
good.
Yes, in the streaming session, Miss Alejandra Sierra says that she loved the game, and another participant says that 30 seconds to answer is very little, and no time for completing. That's not enough time to complete. So
All
you're
right,
a little
thank
bit
you.
harsh with the first one.
Yes, thank you for the observation. I guess that as teachers, we have to consider this feedback always from students, from other teachers. Right.
I will try to do, I will try to do it by myself so that we can take the time, Caro. Maybe now. I don't know.
Right, right. Okay.
I will try to do my best.
Come on, you can do it. You can do it.
Okay.
But
So
are we going to play it all together or
I
not?
guess so. I guess so because then I mean, if some people couldn't uh, see the game, maybe they will get the idea of what it is about.
All right.
Mm-hmm. You want me to start?
Yes, please.
Can you see the screen, the game?
We can see it. You
All
can
right.
do it, Gabby. Come on.
I will try. I will
Get
try.
ready. Get ready. The term curriculum is used here to refer to the overall plan or design for a course and how the content for a course is transformed into a blueprint for teaching and learning, which enables the desired learning outcomes to be achieved.
Oh my God.
The term curriculum is used here
Oh
to
my God.
refer to the
Yeah.
overall
Too
plan
short.
or design for a course and how the content for a course.
Okay. TD refers to the.
Some teachers are laughing. Oh, they are. They are.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It comes. Refers to methodology. Okay. Good. Reflects different assumptions about the means and ends. Okay. Central design starting points is in the process. Good. And you have to click here. Okay, forward design determines the outcomes before the process, no, before the content and the process.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
Oh, no,
Oh, forward. Forward
forward.
design starts
Forward.
with.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was supposed to be.
Some teachers laugh. No, no. They don't want to
forward.
help. They just laugh.
The content.
The content.
Okay. Before. Okay. The last one. Oh, that's so sad. Okay.
Okay. But
Okay.
don't worry because you had fun and you also refreshed your mind. Okay.
Okay. Now let's try with a different game. And this time, probably you also know this application, but this is a different format. Yes. Go to the QR code. Still revising concepts or ideas from last session. This time we chose the werewolf game, but sorry, it's in a different version. And it's here. And you're expected to see a plane, and the assignment is like moving with the arrows towards the correct answers, and it says it's about the elements of an effective prompt. It describes each element, and you're supposed to move towards the correct answer that describes the element of the prompt.
They are asking for the link in the chat box.
Right.
My plane has already crashed.
Now you are going to play, Caro.
Oh no, please. I'm not as fast as the students are. You know, I never play video games, never.
No, not even
The
when you were
last
a child.
the last time I played was Mario Bros. Like 1,000 years ago, and never again.
Were you good at that or not?
I used to like it, but it was not as fun for me as doing other activities. I like to do things with my hands, like painting, drawing, you know.
Craft person.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Julissa
Mm-hmm.
finished. How did it go, Julissa?
What about the people in the streaming? Are they playing the...
I have already shared the link, so
Okay.
I guess they are still playing this activity that was done in Word Wall. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you played that one?
No, I haven't.
No.
Julissa says
I
it
don't
was
have time.
funny. It was easy. Oh, easy.
Great.
Good.
Yeah,
Great.
there are different elements for the prompt. You have more than 5, yes, but that's like an idea of the elements you cannot exclude from your prompts.
Nati Rio says, great game.
Mhm.
Cool.
Okay. Well, okay, since we are talking about prompts, last session we have like some obstacles, or let's say problems when we created the prompts, because some people got the whole lesson plan for and you were supposed to create the objectives. Remember, Caro?
Yes, sure.
Mm-hmm. So the idea for with this game is to revise a little bit about the prompts, about the elements, and we will provide you like an example so that you can define your objectives with this template that we are going to give you later.
Yes, having all the elements in mind.
Mm-hmm. It's very important for you to create the objectives and to remember that we are always working towards our final project. Mm-hmm. Would you like to play, Caro, or should I play? Or maybe we can share the answers in a different format.
I think you can play it if it is short, and then we see the elements of the prompt together.
Okay, so I will try again. I hope
You
I
are
don't
going to
crush.
win. You are going to win this time.
I don't want to crush. Okay. Okay, let's see. Mhm. Oh my God. States, oh my God. What you want to do. Oh my God, no. Yeah, here. Okay. Tells the AI who it should act as. Okay. Now what is it? That is the role. Yes, good. Provides additional details. Okay, and I think it's no. I'm not good at games. Oh my God. Well, any questions, any comments that you want to share before we move on?
They are supporting you with hearts, with claps,
I'm not good at
clapping
games. I'm
their
very
hands.
bad. I'm not fast enough.
Well done, well done. How many answers did you get? They were like
Two or
4,
three.
3. Okay.
2 or 3, I don't remember. Yeah, I'm not good at games. And as you
Congratulations.
said, well, my brother used to win every time. So
So are we going to see the elements of the prompt?
yes, now we're going to move on, and just I want the people in the audience to tell me what are the or what is the order that you have to type.
Jose is saying roll.
Okay, roll. I think that's perfect. What else?
Daniela is playing a joke. The problem was the pilot. She's laughing.
For sure, not me. Okay, what's the second element?
Task, they say here.
Okay, I think so. Or instruction is another name for that. Good.
Context, Esther.
Text.
And Jose, audience.
Audience. That was the correct one. Good. Mm-hmm.
Next.
Next.
Context.
Context. Yes. Correct. What about the last part?
Specific requirements.
Specific requirements. Good. Excellent. Excellent. Well, this is our version of a a proper template. A proper prompt, and we will give you this, let's say, template, so that you can, let's say, edit, yes, with all the information you need to build your objectives. We will give you, let's say, the template, but you have to substitute or write all the words you need in order to get the objectives for the final project. And here, as you can see, it says, ask as a teacher of, let's say in this case, English. And remember that we are not teaching ESL, but EFL, right? English as a foreign language. And you have to ask the AI to create or generate, in this case, only the objectives for your lesson. The objectives for your students, and you have to describe them in terms of age, in terms of characteristics. It means or special needs or interests, right? The topic you chose for your project. Yes, I guess so far. Can you share in the chat the topics you chose for your projects? And then you will define your objectives in terms of functions. Yes, so when you get the answer, they are not going to be centered on the grammar points or the vocabulary. You are going to define your objectives in terms of functions. This is very important. And then you
Miss
consider
Gabi, I have copied this template in the chat box.
great.
So
Great.
Miss Salva, you can also share it in the streaming, please.
Yes.
Thank you.
So it says considering the linguistic contents. There you have to state what you are working with, the grammar and the vocabulary. But before, the objectives have to be defined in terms of functions or competencies, not on grammar. They are not based on grammar. Good, and thank you for sharing, because this is the idea that we get better at designing our objectives, not only for this class, but also for our lesson plans, daily lesson plans, or also for our syllabus, right?
Just one thing to say that in the YouTube chat, we cannot share long messages. There's
Okay.
a limited number of letters or characters that we can share.
That's okay.
So it's not possible, but we are going to share the prompts or the model prompt in the campus.
Yeah, and after we finish after we finish the streaming, you can watch the video again if you wanna copy, but everything will be in the campus. Don't worry about that anyway.
Or maybe you can share it in parts, like the first part and the second part, or in 3 parts.
No, I think that it won't be possible because you cannot copy and paste messages from YouTube and their participants. Okay. So it's no, just links or short messages.
Good.
Yes.
All right. So, okay, for the people in YouTube, don't worry. We are going to share this in the campus, and also you can watch the streaming again and just take a look at the information you need.
Or old school, take a piece of paper and a pen and copy it.
Screenshot, you can also do that.
Yeah.
Okay, but I could see that some people completed the Padlet during the week, so we will have a look at those. Anyway, everyone is going to complete the form or the final project, and there we will read for sure the objectives you created. Okay. Shall we move on or not? Any comments, any questions?
There are no questions, and one teacher is sharing her content, simple past and past continuous. You ask them to share the content.
Okay. Yes, I asked to share the topic of your, that's not the topic, the topic of your lesson, the one you're going to create for the final project.
Like the context.
Context, that's right, not the content. Great.
Yes, please remind us of your topics. Topics like a visit to the farm. I remember that world leaders, a day at school, celebrations in Argentina, routines. Thinking about my future career job, famous scientists and inventors, the person I most admire.
I like that one.
A day at a technical school, a job interview,
Good. It's very useful.
emotions.
Great. Okay, awesome. I think we can move on to the next topic. And in this case, Miss Caro is going to continue with some ICT tools for listening and speaking. In this session, we are going to focus on listening and speaking as skills. And in the next session, we are going to work with reading and writing.
That's right. Thank you, Miss Gabby. So yes, once we have our objectives specified, we can start thinking about the selection and organization of learning experiences. So you will see that I had prepared. Can we see the picture?
Yes, sure.
So what is my topic? No, before we see the
Just a
objective. Yeah.
Okay.
What is my topic? If you look at the stitch. The time, maybe. Routines, yeah. Okay. We are going to see which is the objective of this lesson, okay? I was thinking my students by the end of the lesson, students will be able to listen to a short description of some people's daily routines and verbally ask an answer about their own daily routine using at least 5 simple present tense verbs and common time expressions. This was the objective with artificial intelligence I got. Okay,
Good.
so I have prepared a pre-listening task, a while listening task, and also a post-listening task. So to start, we are going to see this picture related to routines, as you said, and we are going to work with some flashcards to work with vocabulary that the students are going to find in the listening task. So you can start scanning this QR code and see the questions you have there. Or we can do it together, Gabby, also.
Sorry? Yes, sure.
Because the idea is that we see the activities and then we share how the activities were done.
Okay. So you will see the flashcards.
With questions.
Do you have breakfast?
So,
Yes, I do.
question.
No, I don't.
So what
Do you
about
have
you?
breakfast?
Do you have breakfast? You can answer in the chat box. Do you usually have breakfast at home? What about you, Miss Gabby? Yes, I do.
Yes, I do. I do have breakfast. This is one of the most important meals of the day.
Okay. Okay, teachers are answering in the chat box.
Great.
always, no, yes, I do, no, I don't. Okay.
Just black coffee.
Do you help with the housework?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
I don't
I
have
do. No, I don't. Do you
I don't
help
have a
with the
choice.
housework?
I have always helped with the
Do you have a shower
housework.
in the morning?
Sure, in the morning. Again.
Yes, I do.
Do you have a shower in the morning?
I have included the answers. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Because, students usually forget about this way. Yes, I do. No, I don't. They usually say yes or no. So that's why I have included them.
Do you watch TV in the evening?
Tell me, what TV program do you watch? I don't watch TV in the evening. Do you, Gabby? News, series. Caso cerrado.
The Boys. Now, yeah, I watch this TV program, The Boys. It's my favorite.
Yes, I do. Do you watch TV in the evening?
Do you do homework after school?
Yes, I do, always. I always do homework after school. What about you?
Yeah, for sure, always.
Do you get up at 6 a.m.?
And the last question.
Do you go to school by bus?
Yes, I go to school
Yes.
by bus.
Do you go to school by bus?
So all of them have the answer at the back.
Yes, to remind the students to pay attention to this way with auxiliaries, with the subjects, okay? I do the housework, and the teacher is laughing because she does the housework. We all do.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so once the students are familiar with this vocabulary, they are going to find all these expressions in the listening task. So let's see the listening task. It's a video that I found on YouTube, and they are going to listen to 6 different people talking about their daily routines. They have to choose one of the answers. So we are going to watch the video together, right?
Yeah.
Hey, good morning. Sorry. Well, it is early. It's 7:30. I always get up at 7 o'clock on school days. I wonder what time other people get up. Let's find out about their daily routines. Paul, tell me about your morning routine.
Well, I often get up at about 5 o'clock in the morning and have breakfast at 5:30.
Really? That's early.
Yes, well, I'm a doctor. My work sometimes starts very early.
A doctor? That's interesting. Lydia, can you describe your morning routine?
Well, I get up early and I always have breakfast before I go to school. I normally go to school by bus, but the buses aren't very good, so I'm often late for school.
Michelle, what do you usually do in the evening?
Well, the children normally go to bed at about 9 o'clock. Then I sit on the sofa and relax. I often watch TV or a film. I usually go to bed at about 11:30. I never go to bed early.
Georgia and Sophie, What do you normally do after school?
I always do my homework after school. Yes, me too. No. Okay, that isn't true. I usually watch TV or play video games. Then we have dinner at about 8 o'clock.
Do you help with the housework?
Not really. Me neither. I sometimes chat online with friends after dinner. I'm usually in bed at about 10.
I always help with the housework after school. What about you? What's your routine?
Okay, thank you. Some teachers are saying that the Google form is asking for permission. We are going to do it together here, and well, then I will see that, okay, the permission thing.
Yes, that's okay. But we can see, could you watch the video through the... Okay, so maybe you can describe what you propose here.
Yes, so as you can see, it's a Google form, and I gave the options true or false based on the interview. All right. So yes,
So
they are
there
saying
are
that
8 questions, 8 sentences.
yeah, six different people and 8 questions or sentences.
All right.
So after they do this listening task that they can watch or listen as many times as they want, they have a post-listening task, and it is related to an interview with a classmate. So they are going to work in pairs or in groups, and they have to ask and answer these questions. So Gabby, I will ask you, do
Yes,
you get up before or after 7 a.m.?
after 7 a.m.
Lucky you. Do you go to school by car?
No, I just walk
Great.
to school. I mean, I go by bus to the university.
All right. So do you have a shower in the morning or at night?
Always in the morning.
Me too. Do you do homework every day?
Yes, I do.
Oh, smart girl. And do you play sports?
Yeah, I go to the gym.
Oh, congratulations. Well done. Thank you. Thank you for answering the
All
questions.
right. Welcome.
Once they practice these yes no questions, we have a Padlet to share the speaking activity. I have changed the activity here a little bit because I wanted to make it personalized. And you are going to do this activity. Yes? You have to think of the time of the day you like the most, like morning, afternoon, or evenings. Then you have to think of the 3 activities you like the most that you do during that time. And you are going to share in a video in Padlet like I did. And you can use different filters if you don't want to show your face, okay?
Okay.
Miss Carolina, the link of the Google form, the listening task, has been updated. I have already updated, and everybody can enter and access.
Oh,
Good.
thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now they are supposed to do this activity in the Padlet, right?
Yes, I will give you like how much time? 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
Yeah, that's okay. So you're supposed to think about the time of the day you like the most. Let's say I like the afternoon. And I have to say 3 activities you do in the afternoon. For example, I watched my series and I have a coffee and I check my phone. That's.
I thought you were going to the gym in the afternoons.
No, not in the afternoon. I like going in the evening or just
Okay, good, good.
later. Okay, and I had to make a short video.
Please, yes.
Well, I'm not doing that.
You can use filters. You have a lot of funny filters.
Okay, hi. Here you have shared your own video, and I will play it. So
I don't want to be alone there. I want all of you there with me.
okay.
We cannot listen.
No.
No.
Okay. Not sure why is that.
Maybe because you have to enable the audio in the meet.
In the meet.
In the meet session, yes, there's
Oh wait, I will try.
A setting that you have to try, that you have to turn on.
Okay, but someone shared the description, and I'm not sure they are sending the videos. That's what I think.
It's a video that you have to share because I want to, this is like a speaking activity, not a writing activity.
That's true. That's true.
So come on, Vanessa and Bautista.
No, Paola.
Paola Bautista, record your videos. Come on, you can do it. And you too, Miss Gabby.
Okay, I will check while they are doing the videos, I'm going to set the voice or check this.
The audio?
The audio, yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, CCCV is saying that it's a great way to learn, but schools don't have neither internet to share with the students, nor every students have mobile with data. Yes, we agree with you.
Yeah, you can also, you can share how can you work with this activity with that connection. Maybe you can just give some advice to the other teachers, because that's true. We are aware that of the lack of resources in schools, especially in public schools. If you come from an institute, it's different. But if you are working with in a public school, probably you don't have the resources to work with technology. But I think that you can find different ways of including or using the technology for the creation of the materials that you are going to share. In my case, I worked in a public school for more than 15 years, and I I mean, sometimes I used the speaker in the school, but sometimes it was broken. And so I have to buy my own speaker. And I also had the possibility to use the projector, for example, or the TV in my school. But I also, prepare the worksheets, and sometimes I bought material myself, the copies. You can share that too, because that's true. That's a reality.
Or we can ask them to share, the ones who have a device, they can share so that they can record a video. They can do it in pairs.
They can also work as a flipped classroom activity. They can make the video outside the school and then share it in a platform for you to evaluate them, let's say.
Yes, I think it's a good idea to present the activities, because sometimes they play video games and they connect somehow. But it's good to share the ideas, and then we understand if they cannot do it, and we provide any other help for that special situations. So how are you doing with your videos? We are going to share the Padlet in a few minutes, and we want to listen to some of you. As you don't want to speak here, you don't open your microphones, we are going to see you in the Padlet. Let me know if you have already recorded your videos with a heart or with thumbs up, or celebrating, clapping your hands.
Miss Carolina and Miss Gabby, you are not sharing your screen. I think that you should share the Padlet screen.
Okay.
Yes, wait a second. I'm doing that right now. Just was trying to fix yeah, some people are sharing videos.
Great.
There are 4 at least. Wait, awesome people. Well,
I love them.
the thing is, yeah, I was trying to check it. Let's see if the sounds is working, but I'm not sure.
It's weird because we could listen to the video from YouTube.
That's true. That's true.
When you enable when you share, before sharing the screen, check on the top of the screen. It appears a message that says that you can share the audio.
When you share, you said?
When you share the screen, before sharing, when you have to choose the correct window to share, below that it says compartir audio, share
Okay.
the audio of the presentation.
Okay. Okay. I can see some here.
Okay, you can share in the chat box how you felt doing this kind of activity. Are people in the streaming working? Miss Salva, what do you know?
Yes, Miss Janina Salinas says that her video is ready. So she has already uploaded the video on the Padlet.
Yeah, we can see some people including the videos here. We cannot listen to them. So.
Yes, but as we have already shared the Padlet, they can listen to the videos themselves.
That's true. That's true.
Great. I will be watching during the break. I will be watching all the videos because I love that you engaged in this activity. Thank you for sharing.
I don't know, perhaps if Miss Carolina shares her Padlet, I don't know, perhaps you can enable the audio.
Try to do it, Caro.
Give me a second. You know what, Gabby? Maybe you can present your activity and I will see if I can share this.
Okay. Yes, so that we have, time to share with them. Okay, I will do that. Okay, so we will show you like a different. So these are the tools that Carolina used in her presentation. Yes, and I will show you like a different choice. We know that there are teachers who are more advanced in ICT tools. So this will probably be useful for them. And in this proposal, we are going to, wait a second. We are going to work with a class called Celebrations in Argentina. And this was prepared for the fifth year of primary school. Yes. And we are going to start by defining the objectives and the goal that I designed with the AI, right? My goal is that by the end of the students, they are able to identify and describe Argentine celebrations using basic English phrases, demonstrating an understanding of the cultural significance of these events.
Sorry, Miss Gabby, we are not seeing your screen.
Oh, okay, sorry. Again, wait a second. I thought you were, okay. Okay.
Now we are, yes.
Okay. And so for achieving this goal, I will work on the following objectives: identify and state the month in which at least 3 significant Argentine celebrations occur. I will identify and state the month in which at least 3 Argentine celebrations occur. Yes. And the first activity, yes, the pre-listening activity will be the following. Choose the typical celebrations in Argentina. I will ask the students to look, listen, and say. So they will practice the vocabulary. For those, I have the bottoms here.
Flags Day. Chinese New Year. The Festival of Lights. American Independence Day. Easter. Christmas.
Okay, they are supposed to work with the teacher and choosing the typical celebrations in Argentina. Then after that, they will move on to the while listening activities, which include 3 different learning stages. The first is the global activities. Yes, in this global activity, you will work identifying the type of information, yes, that you are going to find in this short video. Yes, it says watch, listen, and answer.
Welcome to my channel. This is Diego Gamer Streaming. Today we will interview some children about their favorite celebrations.
My favorite celebration is Friends Day.
My favorite celebration is Flags Day.
My favorite celebration is Children's Day.
My name is Tommy and favorite celebration is Blummus Anniversary.
Good. After watching the video, the students are supposed to answer this question. Where can you see this kind of video? And you have a TV, TikTok, or YouTube. What do you think? According to the elements of the video, you immediately know that this video comes from YouTube, right? And then?
Okay, Miss, are teachers supposed to answer in the chat box?
Not with this one, because this was kind of obvious, but with the followings, probably. Let's see. Now,
so please, teachers, participate in the chat box, okay?
Okay. While listening activity, the second learning stage, you will see that is the specific information activity. Yes, and in this case, you are supposed to drag the months below the correct celebrations. So, if we think about these celebrations, for example, Carnival, when does it take place? Share your answers, please. Let's suppose that you are the students. Do you have any answers, Caro?
Not yet. You can write Carnival. Teachers
Carnival.
say.
When is Carnival?
They don't know.
Yeah, well, I will tell them. So it's in February. So what happens with San Martin's anniversary? This is more difficult. When is it? No answers? What
There
about
are no answers.
What about streaming, Alba? No, nothing?
March, February, they say. Remember that there is a delay, yes, in August, they say.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good one for San Martin's anniversary and for Christmas.
Well, I think you can do it, Gabby, and then we are going to ask them more difficult questions.
All right. Yes, but remember that this is for 5th year of primary school. Yeah, you're supposed to match the months and the celebrations.
Miss?
Miss? Yes.
We are answering in the chat.
Okay.
There are a lot of answers there.
All right.
Thank you so much. I couldn't see them. I had a delay, maybe. Now I see December. Oh, thank you. Sorry, teachers. Thank you.
All right. So yes, because I cannot see the chat box, so that's why. But now we have Independence Day and Memory Day. and then also the rosette. What is it? And the Teacher's Day, the most important.
Obviously. Teachers Day, September, they are answering right.
Okay, Teacher's Day. Well, you see, this is a very for students to match the months, and it is focused on focus on the let's say before specific information activities. Have this in mind because we are going to work on that in the following. And we have a third stage while listening activity, which is called linguistic activities. In this third stage, we are going to focus on linguistic activities. Here, in this case, you are going to choose the correct picture. My favorite, according to the answer to the sentence, my favorite celebration is Independence Day. And you have to choose, in this case, the correct picture, okay? Or in this case, for example, it says, my favorite celebrations is St. Martin's anniversary. And here you're supposed to choose the pictures according to the sentence. Finally, in this third linguistic, remember the stage, women's anniversary is in June. And I choose a picture according to what is written there. Finally, when you get to the post-listening activity, yes, here we have to record, again, the same, an audio file telling your friends about 2 of your favorite celebrations in Argentina. So you're supposed to record an audio file. And for this, I propose this Buckaroo. Buckaroo is an online voice recorder. Then you can download the recording and then upload in a different platform, let's say. Yes, the idea is that the students record the audio and then send it to the teacher. This was very useful in the pandemic, right? When you, shared your phone with the students or the parents. But well, my idea was that you follow all these stages, yes, and you have here a couple of resources that I used in this presentation. Of course, Genially, artificial intelligence for the creation of the objectives, and also for the pictures. The pictures were created using Copilot because you have some issues for copyright. And if you create the images by yourself, you don't have to worry about that. Also, the video was created using Canva, and then I uploaded the video in YouTube. And you can insert this YouTube video in the Genially application. As you could also listen, I created some audios, and I made use of an ARKit because the voices were children voices for the video. And when you go to Canva, you don't find kids' voices for the creation of the audios. And I also used 11 Labs, and you can for the names of the celebrations. 11 Labs is an application which you can download also the MP3 files. Yes, and Buckaroo, which is for recording the voices.
Excuse me, Miss Gaby.
Yes.
We have 2 questions from the YouTube chat.
Yeah.
Some teachers want to know about the name of the template that you used in Genially, or how can you edit, or where can you find that template?
Yeah, it's in Genially, and it's called Secuencia Didáctica. That's the name of the template. And it's a very long one, but which has different, let's say, stages for a different proposal. But I edited according to our, let's say, a theoretical framework that we are going to develop in a few minutes.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I think that you can also share, you will be sharing this in the
Of course,
in
yes.
Campus EduSalta, so they will be able to edit or to
Sure.
find the template. They can duplicate maybe,
Yeah.
the template.
Maybe I can show you right now
Okay.
how you can find it.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that will be useful for them.
Okay.
Sure. As while you do that, Gabby, Miss Alba, what do you think about the break? Is it going to be at 10 or maybe?
Yes, I think that we are on time, but we are okay with time, I think, because it's...
Yes. We have a couple of minutes
Yes,
before 10
because
to share
yes,
the...
you can continue because you have to develop the theory. There's one more step.
I am asking because I have one more activity to show in Canva.
Yes.
Shall I show it or not?
Yes, of course. Yes, you
I
can.
think we need to present the theory.
Yes, I think so.
Yes, no problem.
All right. And okay, if we have, I think I can share this right now. Okay, can you see the...
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, if you go to courses, you will find a lot of resources and they are pretty good for example, you can use some training resources. You have a lot of, I think it's here, or it's in learning units. Yep, it's here, learning units. And here you will find the primary lesson. And you will also find an English one, like for the English class, which is absolutely beautiful. I think it's here.
In addition, I want to add.
I would love to have more time for you to look. What is it? You have
in Genially, you can record your voice or record audios, but you cannot upload an audio. You can do that with Canva.
That's true. That's true. In Genially, if you have the premium version, you will be able to record or to upload your own recordings. But if you don't have that account, you cannot do it. Sometimes what I do is have the recording in my computer and play it at the same time. When I record, instead of recording my voice, I play the audio file. That's what I do. But you may be wondering, where did we get these ideas? Because we presented the ideas in a certain way, and that's what we want to share before the break, because it's important for us that you know where did we take these ideas, and that's why we're going to share some.
Sorry to interrupt you, Miss. They are asking.
Yes.
They are asking for a summary of the stages again, and that's what you are going to present now. The stages.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yes. First of all, I want you to, have these 6 elements in mind, because when you develop your own materials, yes, if you have the possibility to do it, and if you have time and the resources, we took this from Kathleen Graves, yes, And she talks about learners, yes, and how activities should be relevant to them, to their experience, to their background, to their target needs outside the class, and also to the affective needs, yes. She talks about learning, yes, and how the activities should allow the students to solve problems, to discover, to analyze, so that they are engaged, as you said at the beginning of a session. You said that the activities should be engaging, yes, and use the language you are learning. You have also to consider the language, yes, because the activities should help them develop specific language. So they have practice or enough practice, let's say, about vocabulary, grammar, and functions they need in real situations. They are supposed to integrate the four linguistic skills, that is to say, speaking, reading, listening, and writing. Today we worked with activities including listening and speaking, and they were integrated. They were not isolated, right? And they should be using authentic texts also. If we are talking about language, and when we consider the social context, we have to develop activities that enable students to understand the context and the cultural differences. So when you include images, let's say, they have to include different variety of races and cultural backgrounds, so that they get confidence in the target culture and understand their own culture better. Well, in this case, I focus on Argentine celebrations, but I also included different celebrations around the world that you can, for example, consider when you develop your activities. Then you can, of course, like explain the other celebrations in different countries as well. And in this way develop there are other people, social awareness, let's say. The type of activities, Kathleen Graves says that they should be authentic as possible, so that they see the relationship with the real language use. And when you work in your class, you have to vary the roles and the groupings and the type of activities and purposes, yes, and provide adequate practice. Finally, the materials should be authentic, as we said, when possible, so that the students are familiar with language use in the real world. It says employ a variety of materials such as picture, audio, video, realia, when possible, of course. And as Carolina said, I'm going to repeat or revise the stages of a receptive skill lesson development. Remember that we are talking about here listening skill. But then we will for sure work with the reading also, reading skills in the next session. So at the beginning, I included pre-activities. And if you go here, when you have this presentation, you will say, why should I include pre-activities? Yes, for example, pre-listening or pre-reading. Why? Because they provide the background information to activate students' knowledge on the topic and also anticipate the context. How? Well, by contextualizing the segment of the listening or reading you are going to present. Also, with a short revision or a brainstorming or prediction. Yes, so you can include all of these activities in the pre-listening or in the pre-reading. Then the second, what is called global activities, you say, why should I include global activities? To wean students away from the tendency to translate word for word, and consider audio as a whole. Yes, how should I do this? By identifying the type of information, identifying main ideas, order information, verified predictions, creating titles. In my case, what I did was identifying the type of text or where you can find these videos. And I said it's YouTube because it's a very low level activity, but then you have the specific information to locate specific information, to train students to listen for, to access precision of understanding, and how, in what ways can I do that? I can do this by completing grids, charts, diagrams, answering questions, recognizing cognates, selecting, matching, identifying information. Yes, and then the linguistic activities. Yes, for training students to use the known to learn the new, to infer meaning or structures, how, in what ways, focusing on specific aspects of language. That's the matching activities I used. Inductive reasoning, closed type activities, matching, guessing, open-ended questions. Yes, you have everything here. If you, later you will receive this. Also, you will find this in the platform.
It is already shared. It is already shared in the chat box.
Great. Okay, great. And there you have why to use the post activities, post listening or post reading, to relate reading activities to their original purpose or to consolidate language. And how, using debate questions or discussing issues or expressing your own opinions, telling a story. In my case, what I did was telling them to share why two of their favorite celebrations. That was my closing activity. Yes? Okay, Caro.
Yes, I wanted to add.
Sorry, I wanted to point out this is taken from the schema theory, yes, from Hart, yes, and that's all.
Don't move on yet, because
Okay.
I want to emphasize that you can do all of these stages, pre-global, specific information, linguistic, and post. You can do them. Or you can simplify the task with pre-specific information and post activities. If that's what I did, okay?
Yes.
I did the simplified version, and Miss Gabriela did the complete version, okay? And now we are going to see some special considerations when selecting video and audio material. Can we see the
sure. Sorry. I was just, wait.
It's okay.
Okay.
So when you select video and audio, you have to consider the length. Like for primary students, a minute is a lot. And for high school students, I would say like 2 minutes and 30 seconds. 3 minutes is like the top, all right? No more than that. Then you always need to check the sound quality, the volume, that it's clear, okay? And take into account the speakers involved, because in the task you have to specify. You are going to listen to 6 different people. You are going to listen to a teacher talking to a student about homework, so on and so forth. You have to specify the people and the topic, okay? And always include some supporting visuals, like a picture about the topic or something that helps, to understand the context, all right? So I think that's all. I think we have time to share one more activity. What do you think, Miss Gabby? Or we go to the
I
break?
think it's time for the break. I
All
don't know.
right. No problem.
I think it's time for the break. Maybe you can do it after the break.
Sure, no problem.
It says, okay, you share also some couple of resources, and they have to do something. It's going to be a break, but they will have time to do this, right?
Like an active break.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, while you prepare your coffee, you will have time to explore all these tools. Maybe you know them already. If you don't know them, you can explore them. And then when you come back, you will tell us the ones you find more attractive, more interesting, the ones you can use in your context. And also, we will share this activity in Canva, Gabby. They
All right.
have the QR code before.
Okay. Okay. Is this one?
The previous. That one.
Okay.
So this is the topic is inspiring leaders from Argentina. You can see it now during the break, and then you can make comments about it. It was done with Canva, and I used voices with artificial intelligence in Canva. Okay.
All right. So they are supposed to go, summarize. They're supposed to go for a break, but it's not going to be like a passive break, but an active one. And they are supposed to explore all the ones they find more interesting, the applications. And we will meet around 10:20 or...
Sorry, before this slide, they have a website with 1-minute videos.
Yes.
We are going to share this link in the chat box because you can use those videos and think of the pre-listening task, post-listening task, okay?
Okay. So I will start this, let's say, clock here.
Yes, the timer. It's a timer with...
Sorry.
That it has music so that you can relax and explore, and maybe you can put it full screen.
Yeah, sure. After I close my...
Miss Javi and Miss Carolina, I recovered my connection. So have you already shared the Microsoft Forms?
No, we didn't share we need to share the links for the videos and for Canva, the Canva activity.
Yes, but before the break, you should share, or I'm going to share the Microsoft Forms. There are 3 questions related to the topic of the second part that they should answer during the break.
Yes, also, Gabby, it's in the next slide.
Right. Well, people, sorry about that.
What was it? We are curious now. Something dropped. What was it?
My big baby. Well, I'm going to just summarize what you're supposed to do during the break because there is too much information for me, I think. Okay, so Alba is going to give you or share with you an information through the chat with a form. And you're supposed to explore all the apps, and that's all. Yes, and have a coffee because it's too much, right? Good. Okay, so see you in a couple of minutes. Good. Some people are showing. Thank you, people. Reacting. Yes, we are. See you in a couple of minutes. Sorry.
Okay, come back. Here we are again. Let us know if you are there, if you can turn on your cameras or react. How was the break? It was short, wasn't it?
It was short for me, and I was getting cold.
Yes, me too. I prepared my coffee. This is the most important.
Okay. Someone said that Alva's form was short, so
Took us some minutes.
that was okay because it's a break. You have to rest.
They say we need more time. Yes. Okay, we are going to give you time now. Yes, during the activities.
Okay, so we are back, and would you like me to share my screen? So,
okay.
Okay. Okay, so are you ready to begin with the activity, Miss Gaby? Are you going to work with the brain break?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, shall I start?
Yes, please. Well, we would like you to send these emojis and have a look at the screen. It says send this emoji through the chat if you want someone to cook for you today.
Almost everybody.
Of course, that's...
And something delicious. Not something simple, no. Something good.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
Okay. What about this? Okay. The next one, Alba. She has to cook every day, someone said. If you're finding these activities interesting, good. Glad to see that. Wow, that's a lot.
The whole month. Okay. What about people on the streaming? Are they reacting too?
Yes, they are reacting to the second question with a thumbs up, of course. Okay, can we continue with the third?
Yes, sure.
So send this emoji if you are going somewhere for winter holidays. Tell us where you are going. Oh, some people are not, and they are reacting with a sad face. No, don't be sad. You will have free time at least. You can go to the park.
Okay, they are reacting in the YouTube too.
Are they going somewhere? To Salta. Okay.
That's fine. We have beautiful places here, towns, small towns.
Some of them are going to prepare final exams. Great. To Santa Maria, Catamarca. Cool.
Okay, let's move on to the following.
Yes, please.
Okay, are you thinking about the kind of activities you want to design as regards listening and speaking? Did you have time to explore? You can share in the chat box. Which ones did you find interesting? Will help you in your context. Any answers? Any answers in the streaming?
Yes, they are still reacting to about the activities for the final project. Lourdes, Anto, She Mendoza. Some people are sharing also the places they are going to go. Some people are going to Buenos Aires.
Okay, here we have some apps. They are saying that Genially, Canva, EducaPlay will work for them.
Okay, Cici, if you cannot send emojis, you can always open your mic or also write text. Okay, EducaPlay is kind of cute. Has a lot of different activities. You can upload videos too. Great.
Ms. Gaby, is there another question?
No, I think that those are the last. And if you are ready, you can move on with your topic.
Okay. But before I start, I think that Carolina has to say something. Miss Carolina?
Yes, I'm right here. I'm going to introduce Miss Alba Rioja. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alba Carolina Rioja is a specialist in foreign language teaching didactics. She graduated as a teacher of English in 2001 at Profesorado Superior de Lenguas Vivas in Salta, and she obtained her university degree in teaching English in 2013 at Universidad CAES. In 2017, she was granted a Fulbright scholarship to be part of the Teaching and Excellence Achievement Program in the USA, where she attended a series of customized professional development courses at Appalachian State University and delivered lessons on cultural issues at Watauga High School in Boone, North Carolina. Thank you. How do you say the name?
Watauga.
Thank you
It's
so much.
a Native American name.
In the same year, Fundación Luminis granted her a scholarship as part of its Formador de Formadores program to attend the postgraduate specialization in foreign language teaching didactics at Universidad Nacional de Córdoba, where she graduated in 2021. She has delivered presentations in various face-to-face and online conferences in Argentina, Colombia, and USA on her interest areas, which are ESP, materials design, and multiple literacies. In 2024, she participated as a speaker at TESOL in-person and virtual international conventions. As for her work experience, she has been teaching English for 20 years in various educational contexts. At present, she is an ICT teacher trainer for the Ministry of Education from Salta. She is a professor at UCASAL, Profesorado Superior de Lenguas Vivas, and an EET, a technical school, Dr. Julio Mera Figueroa. So welcome, Ms. Albia Rioja. Thank you for being here with us today.
Okay, thanks, Ms. Carolina, Ms. Gabi. Thanks to all the participants who are connected from different parts of the province. Okay, so let's start with the second part of this workshop, of this second session. And I sent you a link that you had to complete about a specific topic that was assessment. So I will show the results. Okay, now you can see the form that was done in Microsoft Forms. And I don't know if you have already used it, because sometimes we are used to using Google Forms. And I think that this is a good option to change. And I think that it has a very nice feature that, for example, when you want to share the responses, you can, as you can see in my screen, you can click on present, and so you have a presentation. You have the presentation mode, and you can show the responses in that mode. So I think that's a good option to use in your classes. So let's see the results of the form. The first question was this: what types of assessment procedures do you carry out at school? Name at least 3 of them. So I have 58 responses, so it means that more people have to answer this question. Okay, but let's see some of the answers. So you mentioned formal assessment, informal assessment during class, summative, formal assessment through games, oral activities. Okay, great. Diagnostic assessment, formative assessment, summative. Okay, so those are some of the responses or the types of assessment that you usually use. Let's see others. Written tests, dialogues in group, and creative projects in group. So that's great that you use alternative assessment procedures. Diagnostic, formative, and summative, they are the most usual types of assessment. Special assignments, individual or group assignments, follow-up sheet, written tests, oral practice, process, final tasks. Okay, if you use that approach, that's great. Oral activities, formative, procedural, and summative assessment. Work in pair for self-assessment. Okay, that's great. Okay, that's great to use self-assessment. I used to work with formative assessment like exit tickets, summative assessment like speaking exams. Let's see other responses. Self-assessment, formative, diagnostic. Okay, so those are the things that are repeated, the types of assessments. I usually use a rubric. Okay, so many of the types of assessment and specific terms related to assessment that you are mentioning, we are going to work with those types of assessment. I usually use a rubric, debates, projects. Okay, let's see. Presentations. So that presentation, you use presentation to test students, to assess students' performance. During the class, while the students are working, using some quizzes at the end of the class, okay, to get feedback. Okay, feedback is also another important term, or a term that we are going to use in this second part of this session. During the class, while the students are working, you use quizzes. Okay, formative, summative, exit tickets. Great that you are used to using those types of procedures and instruments. Okay, let's move to the second question. And here you had a multiple choice question. and it was related to feedback. How important do you consider feedback in the process of learning English as a foreign language? And 73% of the participants chose option A. That is extremely important. It helps guide both teaching and learning. Okay, I'm happy that you think that it's extremely important, because that's one of the main topics that we are going to deal with in this part of the session. And 25% think that it is important and it supports students' improvement. Okay, that's also right, that you see feedback as extremely important and important. Good. Now let's continue with the third question. And the question is this one. How do you usually give feedback to your students? Please describe your typical strategies, how you give feedback to students. Written messages, conversations, questioning technique, clear and specific comments. That's great. I give them motivation and support. That's important, not only negative feedback, but using constructive feedback. That's quite important. Questioning technique, and let's see others. I usually try to give a little feedback after the activities I presented. Oh, that is well-timed feedback. That's good. One paper on a minute. This is a great strategy that I can check if they understood. Oh, that's great. Orally, short interviews, getting my students' attention with visually engaging activities, games, and recreational activities. Verbally motivating, using stickers. Okay, some students like that. And there are participants who work at different contexts here. Maybe you work at primary school, at secondary school, so the techniques are different, or they can be adapted. You can use exit tickets in primary school or in secondary school. Okay, let's see another response by giving clues so they can think and try to find a mistake. Oh, that's great. I pretend to my students being capable of self-assess. Okay, yes, we have to enable students to carry out self-assessment. We have to teach them how to do that and give them opportunities to do that. Well, I usually try to give my students suggestions for improvement, and usually, okay, let's see, and usually with positive reinforcement. Yes, that's right. At first, I highlight what students do well in order to reinforce their confidence, and then try to encourage them to find out their own mistakes. Finally, I give them the explanation. That's great, making them aware of the mistakes they have done. I usually give verbal feedback at the end of an activity and at the end of the class. Okay, great answers. I think that you are used to, most of you used to work with different types of assessment procedures, assessment instruments and tools. And you also think that feedback is extremely important, and you use different ways to give feedback, and you are used to giving constructive feedback. That's really great. So this presentation is going to be like a revision about assessment procedures, and I hope that you can get some tools and refresh some ideas about the importance of giving feedback. Okay, I stopped sharing, but I have to share my presentation again.
Yes, here we are. Great ways of assessment that you have, giving feedback, giving stickers. I love stickers.
Okay. So now I think that you are able to see my screen again, my presentation, the presentation of the session.
Yes, we are.
Okay, great. So before we start with this topic, I would like to remind you about the different steps that Richard suggests in his article from 2013 that is about curriculum development approaches. about the backward design. This is the approach that we are using, that we are describing and applying in this, in this workshop. And as you can see, there are different steps, and we have already worked with some of them. My colleagues, Ms. Gabi and Ms. Carolina, have already showed how to work with the speaking and listening activities. That is to say that they have already selected the content, organized the content, selected learning experiences, and organized learning experiences, and they have started with receptive and productive skills. You know that there's no one way to do this because it depends on the context and on the content that you want to teach, and you can vary the steps. But one step that is also very important is to, once you formulate the objectives, is to think, is to determine in which ways you are going to assess students, what instruments you're going to use in order to assess if the students have achieved the objectives of the unit of work, okay? So here we have that step 7 is the determination of what to evaluate and ways of doing it. But I think that sometimes you do things or you organize these steps in different ways, or some of them are done simultaneously in the teaching and learning process. Okay, we have already seen your answers. Now, let's see what we are going to deal with in the second part of this session. So we are going to work with assessment for learning. Have you ever heard about this term, assessment for learning? You can react, yes, with a thumbs up if you have already, or thumbs down if you have already heard about this term, assessment for learning.
They are saying no, no.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, it's not a different type of assessment. It's like a different perspective that we can use to think about or to reflect about assessment procedures in our classes. Okay, let's see the subtopics that are related to this broad topic. So first we are going to work with, or we are going to delve into the differences between assessment for learning and assessment of learning. And you are going to tell me, and I'm sure that you already know the differences about these two terms. Okay, then we are going to work with I will give you some tools that you can use for putting this assessment for learning into action. And then we are going to work with 7 ways of giving effective feedback. Because as you have mentioned, students can improve if they are given effective feedback. And after that, you are going to tell me, and I'm going to show you, of course, the benefits, or you're going to see through the explanation and the activities that we do during this second part, the benefits and challenges of using or having this perspective of assessment for learning. Good. Okay, so this is my agenda for the second part. So let's start with the first. So you have already mentioned, yes, types of assessment, the ones that we study when we attend the teacher training college. So you mentioned formal assessment. That can be done in different ways, not only through written tests, but it can be done through projects, through oral presentations, through different ways, not only through paper and pencil tests. Informal assessment can be done during the process of the development of a unit of work, for example, during classes, through observations, through quizzes. You have mentioned many types in the form. Okay, we have also talked about, you have also mentioned formative assessment that is similar to informal assessment. And formative assessment has to do with the objectives that we have in our classes, that is to say, to give formative feedback, for example, to reinforce some content that we want to teach. Summative assessment, that is related to formal assessment, that is the aim of, it has as the main objective to know if students have achieved the objectives of the unit or aims that we had for the unit. And you also mentioned self-assessment, and something that is also good to apply is peer assessment, and from time to time to allow students to assess their peers in very simple ways. You can do that and in primary school with children and with teens, but you have to model, of course, how to do that first. And we can also mention alternatives in assessment. What are alternatives? That is to say, alternatives different from paper and pencil tests. Maybe in the form of portfolios. Portfolio is an alternative way to assess students, projects, interviews, conferences. So there are different ways. They are alternatives in assessment. Okay, so those are the types of assessment procedures that we study when we become teachers. And now we are going to work with this. What is assessment for learning? And this is the basic bibliography that I used in this second part to explain assessment for learning. And you're going to have all the materials. This is a booklet, the cover. You have the cover, the image of the cover in the slide. There is also a link if you would like to share the link, Miss Gabby and Miss Carolina.
Okay, I'm sharing the link now.
Was issued by Oxford University Press, and it's a short booklet. It's very practical. It has theory and practice. It has more or less 30 pages, so it's quite easy to read. And we are going to develop this, the content of this booklet now in a brief way. So what is assessment for learning? You have an image there. Yes, you have an image and you have a question mark. It says, where am I? Where am I going? How do I get there? So I would like you to brainstorm some ideas related to assessment for learning. What you think this perspective is about. I will give you some seconds or minutes to answer.
Cici says, how do I get there? Is that a question or are you answering? Evaluating, understanding, Elisa Alvarez.
Okay, evaluating, understanding. Okay, what is assessment for learning? Okay.
Can you repeat the question, Miss, please?
Yes, the question that you have, what do you think assessment for learning is? The question that you have in the slide. You have to brainstorm ideas or words that you think that are related to this perspective.
Guiding.
Guiding, okay, great. Good.
What about the streaming? Any answers there? Gisela here says the feedback we receive to improve. Okay.
Okay, good. Feedback is included in this perspective and also improvement. Great.
And Jose says gather information from students and analyze it if students have achieved the goals. Ongoing evaluation. Okay.
Ongoing, good. Okay.
I have an answer from Susimi, evaluating your own performance.
Great, self-assessment. Good. Okay, I think that we are ready to begin with the differences between assessment for learning and assessment of learning. Yes, the preposition makes a difference in these two terms. Assessment for learning is mainly formative because it is developed throughout the process of the teaching and learning process. That is okay, it's informal because it's done throughout the process of learning and teaching, and it is connected. Yes, everything with the process. Why with the process? Because sometimes when we only focus on the product, we lose the process, and some things could not be solved during the final stage when the product, when we have the product, or when we have when students have already made the test or completed the test. So we have to carry out remedial processes or instruments, assessment instruments during the process. That's the difference of assessment for learning and assessment of learning. Assessment of learning is mainly summative, it's mainly formal, and it has to do with the learning outcome. So these are mainly the differences between assessment for learning and of learning. So try to reflect on which of these perspectives you carry out your assessment procedures. And so think about that not only the product is important, but also the process. Okay, and these are the key elements of assessment for learning. How can we put this perspective into action? So you have a very nice diagram here. I think that it's very useful because sometimes we remember things when we have visuals. Yes, perhaps you are a visual learner, so it's very useful to have this in mind, this pyramid. So what are the different parts of this pyramid? You have 3 elements and you have a central element. What is the first element that you have to take into account? That is diagnostics. That is important because that is the point where we are going to start we are going to start from students' previous knowledge, what students already know. That's key in this approach. I think that we all do this, yes, but this is a way to internalize and to verbalize and to reflect on the things that we do in class. The second element is success criteria. What's that? Yes, that is to analyze or to make students think about, or to give students models or the criteria that we are going to use to assess them. For example, if we are going to tell them, you have to prepare a project or a presentation, so we have to tell them, or to show a model so that they know what we expect from them, the expectation that we have. And we can also build that success criteria with them. Okay, so the third, we are going to develop this in a deeper way in this second part. And the third element is learning intentions. That's learning intentions, that is to say, making clear what is being learned and why. Not also the what, but also the why. Because sometimes students ask us, okay, why do I have to do this? Why are we learning this? So we have to have an answer. So it means that everything that we give students should be meaningful and contextualized. Because if the content is not contextualized and it's not meaningful for their reality, they are not going to find a purpose and also motivation to learn that. And that's one of the aims of this workshop, that you try to adapt the materials or create materials in order to reach to our students' reality. Yes, okay. And there is a fourth element that is central, that is feedback. And there are different ways of giving feedback, and we are going to work with some ways of doing that, some guidelines. Okay, so you have 3 elements: diagnostics, success criteria, learning intention, and feedback. So let's start with the first one, diagnostics.
Alba, before you move on,
Yes.
there are some comments that I would like to share with you from the streaming. Wait a second. Well, we have that the process of evaluation of assessment is a process to gather information about students' learning during the teaching process. Give our students strategies for learning better. Emotions go by hand with the results to have a positive impact on the feedback.
Right.
Then someone says it is related to the ways in which teachers can assess students, taking into account the ways in which they learn best, such as strategies.
Great. So you mentioned motivation, procedures. Excellent. Very good. Very good. Yes. So you are on the right track. Excellent. So everything, as I have already said, that this perspective, maybe you are implementing this perspective, but we are putting into a kind of framework what you already do. And let's see if I can give you some other tips related to that, or that you, this is a time to reflect on the strategies that we use to assess students and to make them improve.
I have some other comments here in the chat, because Sissy says we sometimes prepare great activities, but they don't impact on us, on students, as we expected.
Okay.
And also it says before planning the activities, I ask my students how they would like to learn.
Okay, that's good. Giving them the choices, that's also important. Yes, to give them choices so that they think or that they feel that they are part of their learning process, that they are cared about. Okay, and so let's start with the first aspect, with the first side of the pyramid, that is diagnostics. And I have another question for you. Which assessment procedures or tools do you use to carry out diagnostics or to elicit students' previous knowledge? Okay, so let's see, what are the strategies that you use or some tools? What do you do before you start with a new topic? That's quite important, to connect what they already know and with the new content. So that's in that way, that's that can be a meaningful. Or
they are answering games, brainstorming, quizzes, games on board, general knowledge, flashcards.
Okay, great. Reviewing or using different types of materials.
Needs analysis.
Needs analysis. Okay, that's an integral part of the learning process, is needs assessment. Great. Quizzes. Especially in ESP courses. Yes, that's quite important.
Okay, they are all working with that. Brainstorming, games, flashcards.
Okay, games, that's great. Using gamification in your classes to get to know students' previous knowledge, to review content that they already know. That's also great in different ways. Okay, so you have mentioned many types. So let's continue with this. Okay, so you can carry out diagnostics through classroom dialogue, of course, asking students through different questions. What do you know about this topic? Through visuals, what do you know about this? Brainstorming. I can see some responses from the from YouTube chat, because I have my cell phone and the chat and the YouTube streaming here. Brainstorming, okay, that's a good strategy to use. So the first strategy and the most common one is classroom dialogue. Dealing with wrong answers also, because when you ask something and they tell you, okay, it's this and it's not the correct answer, so you can deal with wrong answers, but you should know the difference between, or you already know surely, the difference between correcting versus diagnosing. Diagnosing, that is to say, trying to make students correct themselves, or through self-assessment or through peer assessment, and enabling students to correct the mistakes that they have made. Another technique can be asking questions to elicit deeper understanding, that is to say, using higher order thinking skills. How can we use those types of questions? When we ask not only the what, but when we ask the how and the why. How do you do that? Why do you think that this word goes here? Or why do you think that this topic is important for you? Yes, so asking those types of questions, the how and the why. Sometimes you cannot do this in the foreign language, in English. So you can do that in the first language, okay, in Spanish. Sometimes when you carry out self-assessment, the important thing is to enable students to think and to reflect on their process of learning a language. So sometimes that can be done in L1. It depends on the level of the students. Okay, wait time is another strategy. Okay, tell me if you are like, sometimes I'm like in a rush, always it's like I'm accelerated sometimes. And sometimes you ask something and you expect students to answer right away. Yes,
yes, we are anxious. We are anxious.
We are anxious, yes. And sometimes when we are anxious, we do not give students, or the ones that are the students who are not risk takers, we are not giving them time to answer. And we rush with the students that are quick. But remember that we should go, or we should develop our lessons taking into account all types of learners, not only the risk takers, but also the other students that are more reflective. You know that there are different types of students, the ones that are more reflective, more introverted, extroverted. So we have to give them wait time. So you have to wait at least 10 seconds, yes, or more. Or there are techniques. Sometimes what you can do is to, when you ask something, you can use the technique think, pair, share. Yes, you think about the thinking time and also the think, pair, share technique. That enables students to, okay, you ask something. Okay, what do you know about, I don't know, the celebrations in Argentina? Or what do you know about celebrations in the world? Okay, now talk to a classmate, brainstorm, take down notes with a classmate that you have to the right, and then you give a minute, and then you give another minute to talk with the partner that is on the left or beside you. Okay, so you can use that technique. It's important that you do that. For example, when you carry out listening activities, that's also another technique that you can use. Okay, you have already listened twice to the audio. Now check the answers with the partner. And in that way, you give them more confidence, more self-confidence. So think about that, wait time. Don't feel anxious and don't go with the faster students. Give them thinking time. So you can use the think, pair, share technique. Okay, so tell me if you already use this technique, think, pair, share, in your classes. Yes, with a thumbs up or with a thumbs down. I would like to know.
Zaira Sanchez says she makes students solve on the board all together.
Okay, that's good. But you can also do that after the think, pair, share technique. Yes, making them work with the partner first. Yes, with the pair activity and then with the whole class. Sometimes we have to do activities in small groupings and then with the whole class, right? So that they feel that they have the, they got the right answer. Okay. So let's continue with the another technique, that is encouraging learners to ask questions. Sometimes we do not give students time to ask. Do you have any questions? Sometimes, yes, we forget about that after delivering a topic or dealing with a grammar or with any type of activity. Okay, do you have any questions? Or maybe if you don't feel like doing that, or the students don't feel like raising their hands because it's hard to make them raise their hands and wait for their turn taking, their turn to ask, because sometimes all of them want to say something. So they can write in a piece of paper. Yes, they can write the questions at the end of the class or at the end of the module. It depends. So it's important that you encourage learners to ask questions. And in that, you can use that, or you can make them work in groups, in pairs, with different groupings, and with exit tickets. And you have already mentioned, yes, exit tickets. That can be done in L1 or L2, because the objective is that they reflect on the process. Okay. There's a mic that is...
Sorry, Miss Floppy Nadal. Can you turn off your microphone? Thank you.
Okay, so there are, so you have mentioned exit tickets. Yes, many of you. Have you heard about entry tickets?
React with the thumbs up.
You can react with entry tickets.
No.
Okay, so you can also work with entry tickets to carry out this diagnostics process. When I deliver classes in Watauga High School in North Carolina, that was something that was great that I observed in the classes that I was in. I worked with a literature teacher, and before students entered, or once they entered to the classroom, the teacher had a tray with papers with quizzes related to the topic that they have dealt with the previous class. And they were dealing with, I think, with the Shakespeare play. And they had some question. She called that activity a bell ringer. And when I watched when I read the plan.
Miss, you are mute. Miss Salva Rioja, you are mute.
Oh, great. Thank you. Okay, I was telling you about my experience with entry tickets. They are called bell ringers in the class where I practiced, that I observed when I was in North Carolina in the secondary school. Students already knew that they had to do something once they step on the classroom. And that's something that was a good routine, because they knew that once they entered, they had to do something. Maybe a quiz, maybe they had to answer questions, revision questions, or maybe you can implement that. Yes, they are called bell ringers or entry tickets, because sometimes students wait for you to enter and tell them what to do. But if you give them a piece of paper, or you already have a question in the board, so that they activate the knowledge that they already have, or they activate what they have learned the previous class. That's a very good strategy. Okay, so I will show you this very short video. It is a 1-minute video, and about this teacher that talks about entry tickets. Let's see if you can listen.
Yes, we can listen.
An entry ticket is a short question that I give to my students upon entering classroom. As I greet my students, I hand them over the entry ticket, and it gets them thinking about what we'll be discussing in class. I love entry tickets because they give me the opportunity to directly assess what my students are thinking and what they're learning. With an entry ticket, I'm able to pick those up and look at them while the students are going through the class and while they're learning and while we're discussing, so that I'm able to answer those questions that those students may have. Students like entry tickets because they're able to work independently, but they're able to really get what they're thinking about down on paper and get my immediate feedback.
Okay, so what do you think about this technique that this teacher uses?
Miss Cynthia Causarano said, similar to our classrooms.
Okay.
I think she's ironic. Quite interesting, great idea. Okay.
Yes, but you know that you can adapt, yes, activities. And I will show you some techniques that you can use.
Miss Salva, some people know about these entry tickets because they have already taken courses with you, and so that's what they are expressing.
Yes, but not all of them, of course. But
Not all
okay,
of them.
it's
Yes.
good to remember. Okay, it's good to remember. Yes, and we use entry tickets in our courses, in ICT courses that we develop. Okay. And this is a technique that you can use, that it's called the chart, the KWL chart. This is not a new technique, because it's something that it has been for a while in this field, but it's good to remember that you can use this activity, because you make students draw this in their folders, and you have to tell them, okay, what do you know about this topic? And then what they want to learn about that topic. And once you finish, or at the end of the class, you make them complete this third column. That is the what I learned. Okay. So this is this can be used as an entry ticket, as an exit ticket, because the third column is completed at the end of the class.
Some people in YouTube are making some comments about how to work with these entry tickets when you only have 40 minutes, like a class, like a very short class. How do you deal with this?
Okay, maybe given just one question, perhaps, yes, or you can use them not for those 40 minutes, or when you have a complete module, or maybe with just one question.
Or at the beginning and at the end of the unit, maybe.
Maybe,
it doesn't have to be like a very long activity or like a printed activity. Maybe you can just do an entry ticket with one question.
Yes, and oral activity. Yes,
oral activity.
Yeah. Other teachers are commenting that it makes the content meaningful for students. One teacher did it once, and students were really engaged. And some other teachers say that it's good to know students' expectations and plan the class goals according to them.
Okay, great. Great that you are finding this meaningful for you, for your classes. Okay, you have other ways to carry out or to use entry or exit tickets, maybe at the end of the class, before the end, maybe 10 minutes before the bell rings. Through cubes, you can use. Okay, I don't know, many of you may have these cubes, the physical cubes, and I don't know if you already have, but it's a good material that you can have, that is to say, the physical or the digital. You have a link here. Yes, you have many cubes or many die in the web available. You have a link here, and you can change the questions that you put or that you include in those cubes. You have some ideas here, of course, that you can change the questions related to the topic. For example, you have some questions here related to the objective of the lesson. Which was the objective? What interested you the most? Did you learn something new? What? Was there something you did not understand and why? What could I have done to help you? Which resource or activity helped you to learn more? So you have, these are some sample questions that you can use. You have to adapt the questions to the level. And of course, that I told you that you can use L1 to develop those questions. Okay, another tool that you can use, digital tool that you can use for exit tickets or entry tickets is Ziplet. Yes, Ziplet. It's a web page where you can create this type. You have an image here. You can include multiple choice questions or open-ended questions, and you can also include some emojis, reactions that you want to get from students. And I invite you to browse this web page, yes, this tool, and it has its restrictions, but you can use them for classes up to 25 students, I think. Okay, so and there is I opened this page today, and it has a promotion. You can get a month free, but it has some free features. Yes. You can create up to 3 classes for free. And you can also use them without a class. And students, if you want them, they can log into the page, or they can use a code, so they do not need to log in to the Ziplet page. So this is another option. Yes.
You have the links. You have the links in the chat box.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you. But everything is going to be shared in the campus anyway. Thanks. Okay, you also have paper entry and exit tickets that you can use. I'm also going to share a folder where I have a collection of entry and exit tickets, but you can use the web to search for different types of exit and entry tickets that are more visual, or that can be connected or can be used or adapted to the different levels, to primary or secondary school. Maybe for primary school, the prompts or the options can be simpler, and they can paint the stars. They will love painting the stars. They want the 1, 2, 3, or 4 stars, or circling the emojis. So this is another option. And this is a sample exit ticket or self-assessment ticket that you can use for low-level students, for primary school students. This includes self-assessment and peer assessment, because it says my friend says, and they have to draw the face. Yes, draw a sad face, a happy face. Yes, how they feel about what they have done in class. My friend says, my teacher says, so they need your feedback, and I say. So it includes teacher feedback, peer feedback, and self-assessment. And everything is included in that folder that I'm sharing with you. Okay, and so diagnostics can be carried out, or formative assessment can be carried out at the beginning and at the end, and also during the learning process, during the class. You know that. And you said that you use different types of tools. I think that you are already familiar, or many of you, most of you are already familiar with Quizlet. Quizlet has been around for some years now, and that's very useful because we can use flashcards, and it can be used to learn vocabulary, yes, lexical terms. I have already I adapted an activity related to celebrations, because that's the topic of the the listening activity that you proposed, Miss Gabi, celebrations in Argentina. So I decided to adapt a flashcard set, a vocabulary set related to celebrations around the world, so that students can learn vocabulary related to celebrations around the world. And there is a new feature, if you haven't been using Quizlet for some time, you can assign now the activity to students. Yeah, and it's similar to word wall. If you have already used word wall, you assign the activity, you get a code or a link, and so that students can complete the activity and you set a time limit to complete the activity. That can be completed at home or during class. Yes. And you have another feature. Have you ever used Quizlet Live in class? So in this case, students should have cell phones. Yes, maybe in secondary school. We know that there is a new a new rule, a new regulation that was issued by the government, the provincial government, but the regulation says that we can use cell phones or mobile devices if they are used in a pedagogical way, if it is supported by a pedagogical objective. So it's not that they are prohibited for other uses, but they are allowed to use in a pedagogical way. So it depends on the institution what the protocol should be, what protocol should be followed.
Yes, and it's the challenge we have as teachers to make students see this device as a pedagogical educational tool and not as an entertainment only.
Right. Okay. Have you ever used Quizlet Live? Because that's another feature of Quizlet.
Mm-hmm. You can react. Thumbs up.
Yes, you can react.
Good.
Okay, great. Great. So how was it? Yes. Did you like Quizlet Live? It's quite entertaining for students because, yes, great. Because they can share the responses. They have to agree on the right response, but they do it in groups. And the app organizes the different groups. Okay, it's not that they choose their groups, but it mingles students. And sometimes we know that they want to stick with their best friend. So it's good to make them to use this tool if you are able to do it, to use this feature, Quizlet Live, or assign the activity.
Is it similar to Kahoot? They are asking if it's similar to Kahoot.
It's similar, but the difference is that the app organizes the students into different groups according to different names of animals. It's different because it's not that the app, and there is, for example, if they belong to a group, they have different options. The groups have different options. And it's like a race. It's gamified. The activity is gamified. It's similar, but not the same. So if you haven't tried this activity, if you have the tools, the context to do it, I advise that you do it. It's quite funny. Okay. So let's, we have already worked with checkpoints, but if you don't have access to mobile devices, students don't have, you can use these for primary school students. That is to say, using cards with the, or flip charts. They are called flip charts or different types of cards, and using the traffic lights colors. And with, you can make students do these cards and keep them on their folders, on their backpacks. And for example, when you ask, sometimes it's not suitable to ask, do you understand? Because some students are going to say yes, but they are not meaning that they understand. And it's good when you say, okay, so what do you think about this topic? Yes, raise your card, your traffic light card, for example. And for example, if they understood the topic, they say, okay, I'm ready for a new challenge. Okay, I got it. Or with different phrases. Yes, these are some models that you can use and they just raise their cards. They're green or the yellow, I am still trying, I need more activities, I need more explanation. So they just raise their card. Or if they don't understand that topic yet, they raise the red card. So it's a way to make them reflect and to make them participate. This checkpoint, this is a low-tech activity that you can use, a low-tech checkpoint strategy that you can use in your classes using these types of flip charts. Tell me if you use something similar to this strategy.
Yes, Jose uses something similar, but for practicing action verbs.
Action verbs. Okay, great. Not yet, they say in the chat, perhaps.
In the streaming?
Yes, in the streaming. Yes, no, not yet, it says, okay. Good. Okay, so let's continue. And I would like to share also this tool that is called Plickers. Have you ever heard about Plickers?
No.
Okay, I suggest if you work especially in primary school, you can also use it at secondary school, but it's quite useful because students do not need a mobile device. The teacher needs a mobile device and internet, but students do not need a mobile device. And you can get information from students. You can make quizzes to students and they will love it. I will show you how to work with this. So it can be used in person and with remote learning and hybrid settings. That's new to Plickers, but it can be used in person. So let's see the things that you need. If you enter to the page, you will see that you need to create a class in the app. You need to create the quiz in the app, the questions that you want to make your students related to the topic, maybe celebrations in Argentina or related to routines. And then you have to get the cards. There is a PDF that you have to download, and I will show you. I have the cards here. Yes, the cards are like this. Yes, they are like QR codes. Yes, and you have a set of 40 and a set of 60, depends on the number of students. What you can do is if you're going to use the cards in different classes, what you can do is to laminate them and to give them to students, or just to print them and to make and to tell them to laminate the cards and to get them ready for every English class if you want to use. Okay, these QR codes, yes, these cards have different numbers. For example, number 1 is for these students. So that's why you have to create the class and you have to give names, yes, to write the names for student 1 for each of the classes that you have. And it depends if when you make the quiz to students, you show the question, and students have, for example, if they think that the answer is A, they have to put it like this because you have the letter A. You cannot see here. I will show you the card afterwards. And if they think that the answer is B, you have to turn like this. Yes, they have to move the card. And another feature that you need to have is the mobile app. You need to get the mobile app in your cell phone. So those are the elements that you need to have ready for using this. You know that when you use a new tool, you have to devote some time to learning and to get used to using this tool and to try with your students. But I think that it will be really, really motivating and engaging for your students. Okay, those are the Plickers cards that you need to print for your students or for every class. And I will show you how to work with this in a very short, in a short video that I have. I will show you just how it works, and I would like that you use that. I have already tried it, and I think that you can see the video now. Yes. Okay.
We can see the video.
Okay, so.
And then we're trying to encourage now staff to use it within their lessons. It's one of those things we were using Kahoot, so a lot of people are still using Kahoot. And again, it's about mindset and let's try something different. So we are now integrating it through our foundation one subject, really, history. When the seeds are blown in the wind. B, does the plant split in half? C, are the seeds carried on the fur of a dog? Or is it D, the plant produces plant?
So there you see that the students have the cards. They have the question on the projector, on the board, and they show, yes, they have to turn the card according to the option that they choose, that they think that is correct, the A, the B, C, or D. You can include 3 or 4 options if you want. And then you see that the teacher...
Plickers, we had an inset last summer in school.
Okay, there you see that the teacher is working with a tablet. In this case, you can work with your cell phone, and it's very quick because you have to move your cell phone, and the cell phone, the app detects the answer, detects the QR codes, and you have the answers on the board. I have worked with this in class, and it's very quick. So you just need internet, and the students do not need mobile devices. And you see that you can use this for working with checkpoints. I think that it's really, really useful for primary school students, okay? Because they don't take mobile devices. Most of them don't take mobile devices, and you have to tell them to keep the cards ready, to laminate the cards. And for example, if one is, and you write the name of one, you have to devote some time to prepare the activities. Okay, so I think that before, we are going to finish the course in August, the 11th of August. Okay, so I will give you a task to do.
Okay.
I'm thinking about that. Yes, a task for all participants. Participants who haven't used this task, I would like that you, when you come back to school, perhaps not this week, but perhaps when you come back after winter break, especially for primary school teachers or secondary school teachers, why not? You try this activity and you tell me how it worked. Okay?
They have time to explore the website.
Yes, please, to print the cards and to prepare an activity and set the equipment to do that. You need a projector, the app, and internet. You need the internet, not the students. Okay? So I want some feedback from you, how it worked. Okay, so let's continue with the presentation. Okay, so you will have everything in Canvas.
We have an idea from Jose. You can put all together and make it then portable for students as a small binder.
As a small binder, okay. Great. Yes, you can have only one set if you want to. You have to organize. You are resourceful teachers, so you have to think about the strategy or the logistics of using this app. This is just, I'm giving you the tool, and you choose how to use it. Okay, so the first element was diagnostics. This is the second element, that is learning intentions. This is important. You have to be clear about what they are learning, or students. You know the what, the how, and the why, but students should know about the learning intention, the what they are learning, how they are going to learn, and why, and what type of questions they may ask. Why do you think we are doing this? Or the questions that you should ask them. Why do you think we are doing this? How is this topic connected to what students already know? How it is connected with previous knowledge. And how does this fit into the syllabus and lesson aims? That is to have the macrovision and the microvision. That's also important to make students aware of where they are in the unit of work. Okay, that is related to learning intentions, the second element of the pyramid. Okay, and the third element is success criteria. Success criteria has to do with expectations that we have, what we expect students to do or to achieve at the end of the unit of work. And that has to do with the negotiation of success criteria and giving them exemplars and models of what we expect from them. If we want them to do a presentation, a project, a dialogue, whatever, we have to give them models and to negotiate the success criteria. So if we are going to give them a presentation, so what does a successful presentation look like? So let's give them a model, okay? Or negotiate with them. Okay, what does a successful presentation need to have? And make them elicit, yes, make them brainstorm ideas related to that, give them participation, yes, make them participate and make the class more interactive. What are the aspects that are important to take into account when you're presenting? Not only the visuals, but also the type of font, the language that you're going to use, okay, the content, the organization. So you have to elicit that from students and to model that, the success criteria. And another question that can be considered is what are the assessment criteria that are going to be considered when they are going to be evaluated, because that's useful, because they can compare what they have done with the success criteria. So let's see. In this case, in this aspect, we can use rubrics. And we, before ChatGPT, these models, AI models, these AI generative models, we had some tools that we could use, some web pages, but nowadays we have chat, yes, the ChatGPT. Have you ever asked any chatbot to produce rubrics for your activities, for assessment? Any of you, you can react, or you can tell me about your experiences.
Thumbs up if you have tried ChatGPT or any AI for rubrics. Thumbs down if you haven't.
Okay.
In a few minutes, we will be sharing the attendance, okay?
Yes, yes, the attendance is at 12. Okay. So you can, of course, you can use the chat to produce the rubrics, okay? You have some, I included some cartoons here. I love cartoons. It says, I'm gonna need more specific feedback on my formative assessments. Yes, because it says.
Someone has a question, Alba.
Yes, a question?
Yes, Cici.
Yes, tell me.
You wanna open your mic, Cici, please? Or maybe right, because she has raised her hand.
Okay, yeah, sometimes
it is only just...
You don't mean, yes, to raise your hand, okay, but you can open, of course, the mics. Okay, we have another cartoon here related to assessment. What are you doing, Billy? Using a rubric to evaluate supper, and that spinach makes it a below basic meal. And the last cartoon, it says, Daddy, do you like my picture? Honey, if you'd like me to be objective, I'll have to create a rubric, poor girl. Okay, so let's continue. So here I have a prompt that I asked chat to create. Yes, I didn't create the prompt myself, but I asked the chat. Yes, okay, I want a rubric, a model, yes, or a structure to create rubric. So I'm going to share this on on the campus. Yes, you can also ask ChatGPT to give you the prompts. So you have to complete, yes, with the details of your specific group. For example, this is a model for designing a rubric for EFL tasks. Design a rubric to assess specific topic for a group of students aged who have a level, yes, A1, A2. Yes, the rubric should include 3 to 5 clear criteria, descriptors for at least 3 levels of performance, language that is age appropriate and accessible, and you have the different criteria that you can include. Yes, this is just a model, and just making you aware that you can use chat, of course, to create the rubrics in the format of a table. You can ask that, yes, in the format of a table. And you know that AI is running so quickly, and we have to get updated continually. Okay, so we are going to finish with feedback. So we have already worked with diagnostics, learning intentions, and success criteria, and we have some minutes to work with feedback, with the different elements of feedback. There are 7 key elements of effective feedback. We are going to deal with some of them, but I'm going to mention the 7 elements of effective feedback. And maybe you already know, but this is a way to let's see, structure the different types of feedback that you can use, or the characteristics of good feedback. First thing, that it should be specific and clear. It shouldn't be broad, very specific for the task that students have to complete. Well-timed, that is to say, it should be developed, or it should be done and provided right after an activity has been done, has been completed, or it depends on the level of the students or what you want to assess. It is linked to learning and success criteria, of course, connecting with one of the elements, and it focuses on the task, not the learner. That's quite important, not to say, okay, you are messy. No, the task looks quite messy. You should do this or that. So that's also important. Give students learning cues, that is to say, how they can improve. Not only that they have done something not in the correct way, but also giving them the learning cues to solve that problem. Yes. To overcome that problem, and giving them strategies, not solutions, not giving them the answer, but leading them to the right answer, or to the way in which they can reach the objectives. And the last element of effective feedback is that feedback is actionable and achievable. That is to say, it can be achieved by students. It's not way far from students' competence. Okay, this is a strategy that you can use. This is called 2 methods and a mission. That is to say, students, you have to tell them 2 good things that they have done, and 1 mission, something that they can improve and how they can improve. Yes, this is called 2 methods and a mission. You have a worksheet. I'm also going to share the booklet that I showed you, the theoretical background. The booklet has a toolkit that comes with this bibliography, and it's also very useful. And so you have there a worksheet that you can use. You can use this or in any other form. And there is another worksheet that is called 2 stars and a wish. Okay, so 2 things that they have done in a good way, and 1 wish. So as you can see, you have 2 positive things and 1 thing that can be improved. So think about, because sometimes we listen to feedback, and some teachers, or sometimes we have to reflect, okay, you give them, okay, you tell them something positive, but it's 1 something positive and 3 things 3 negative things or something that they should improve. So it should be balanced. Yes, and they students know about this. Yes, they know when you're giving them when you're saying more negative things than positive things. So let's keep this right balance. Yes, 2 good things and 1 thing that they can improve, and 2 medals and a mission, 2 stars and a wish. Yes, that can be a good strategy. Here you have an example. For example, you've written an interesting review of the film. Can you use broader range of vocabulary so that you are not repeating the same adjective? So you can give them a learning cue, how to do that, how they can improve. This, as I have already told you, yes, you can use L1, why not? Yes, in L2 or L1, because the aim is that they improve. So you have here some examples related to this element of effective feedback. Focuses on the task, not on the learner. Yes, focus always on the task. For example, let's see some good examples here. Great ideas, that's very general. So it's broad, it's not specific, so it's not suitable. Let's see the second, you always have problem with pronouncing that word, don't you? Okay, in that way you are focusing on the person, yes, not the task. You always have a problem, so you are focusing on the problem, okay? So it can be rephrased in another way, okay? Try pronouncing that word in this way or giving them audio or some links or telling them, okay, you can use this app or something to correct that or to practice. Your writing is quite messy. Can you try? Yes. Or the text that you produce or that sentence is not well organized. Can you try using this or try using that? Okay. You haven't done all the questions. That's quite negative. You are a very slow reader. You are focusing in that case on the learner, not on the task. So be careful with those types of comments. Another element is, okay, you have some examples of feedback prompts or different types of prompts. This is very, prompts related to feedback, yes, not to AI. So you can browse these types of prompts in when you have the material in the campus. So you have different types. Yes, preemptive, that is when you, before you teach something or while you're teaching, you predict what's going to happen or what mistakes students are going to make. For example, when they overgeneralize when they are learning the irregular verbs, instead of saying went, they say goat. So you can be proactive and show them, yes, that they shouldn't do that. Yes, because that's a common problem that students may have. Yes, those types of mistakes. Yes.
Miss, how are you doing? We are supposed to share the link for the attendance, so we can just leave a little bit of presentation for next.
Yes, I'm going to finish. Yes, I have some slides at 11:55. Do you think?
Okay. Good. Okay.
So yes, this is another very useful tip for giving feedback. Feedback challenges requires action and it's achievable. Think about that. It gives them something to do. And something that is very useful is to think about feedback related to the comfort zone, learning zone, and panic zone. Yes. We have to try to give feedback that falls into the learning zone category. And you have different examples here that you can use. I'm just going to show you the comfort zone so that we are on time, yes, because I'm finishing. So comfort zone, it is safe but not challenging. Yes, doesn't push the learner to grow. It just tell you, okay, great job, you have done the task very well, but it doesn't give more things to do. Yes, on how to improve. That is the safe but not challenging. Yes, the comfort zone. You have the learning zone where you tell students what to do. And the panic zone, you should avoid this type of feedback that is overwhelming or too critical and may trigger anxiety and withdrawal. Okay, no, I don't want to do this task anymore. Okay, so be careful with these 3 types of feedback, yes? Don't get students to the panic zone because that produces anxiety in some students. Okay, so we are going to leave this, the benefits and challenges of assessment for learning. I think that you already have seen this, the benefits and challenges. And okay, so I have already finished with this session. Do you have more things to say about the, before showing the QR code? Yes.
I just want to add that all of this is going to be shared. It has been shared already in the Google Drive, and also it will be on the campus.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Alba.
having participated in this workshop or in this part of the course, Alba. It was very enriching, and I think that all of the people enjoyed your presentation, and we have learned a lot too. So thank you the people in the streaming attending to the course, to the second session. Remember that we have 2 more after your holidays, and that you will be receiving your information for the campus soon. Yeah, don't worry, don't panic. Just wait for the mail, and if you have already been in some of the courses, you probably are going to use your same account and password. And in case you haven't attended any course in the ministry, then you will get a password and a user in your mailbox.
Most teachers are saying thank you, Miss Alba. Thank you, teachers, for everything. It's a pity the time constraints. Yes, we know.
Yeah, now you have the exit ticket and the attendance, but the people in the streaming, I don't know if they can see it. Wait.
It's pinned. Yes, it's pinned.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and I will share the link. Sorry, maybe I... Okay.
Okay, no, it's...
Remember, you have like 10 to 15 minutes to check the attendance.
Okay, I have already shared the link in the YouTube channel too.
Okay, any questions before we leave? You have the link here in the chat. You have the link, Nati.
Yes, and if you have completed the link, so see you next session, and you may leave.
They are wishing us a wonderful winter break. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Goodbye.
Yes.
Bye.
Okay. So once you complete the exit ticket and attendance form, you have 2 questions related to the session. You can exit the session. You can disconnect.
Thank you. Goodbye. Yes, remember that the attendance certificates will be as soon as you confirm the attendance, it will be delivered to your email account.
Well, I have a question in the streaming, and this person wants to know when we are uploading everything in the platform. We said at the beginning that it doesn't depend on us, and and as you don't have a deadline just for the final presentation, you don't need to worry about that because then you will have the information. I hope it is soon, but we don't know an exact date. You
But
too,
you can
Andrea. Have a nice holiday.
You can think of the listening and speaking activities and explore the websites, the tools, okay? So that when we ask you to complete the chart, the form, you have everything ready.
Yes, you can take advantage of this time for you to explore, and also the tools that Alba presented for assessment, because of course you need to prepare something for assessment. And remember that this is called Teachers as Content Creators. And so you will be required to create some content for your final work. I think you will have to use at least 2 or 3 tools, but so that now you have time for you to explore and to ask questions also, whether you can use these platforms properly, to watch some tutorials on the web. Yes.